servicing plans for new developments, COVID vaccination sites across the city, okaying affordable housing developments with Coral Housing projects, and many more. Those are a few of the big things that involve the future of Barrie, and those items passed unanimously at Barrie City Council last night, after months of filtering through committees, general committee, and more. However, none of those things sparked debate, and a few things did, and on this recap, I'll focus on those items. Again, though, for a full agenda as well as the minutes of everything that passed, check out Barrie City Hall. But let's dive into what caused discussion at City Hall last night. First off was recognition of a longtime Barrie Food Bank director, Peter Sundborg. He was the director for 10 years through the pandemic as well.
Peter, I know very, very few people as warm, generous, and thoughtful as you.
Next up were two different sets of deputations. Two emergency deputation requests actually came in, meaning they were submitted at the last minute. So first up was emergency deputation request. Aurelia Streck is a local artist and educator in Simcoe County, and she spoke up in favor of the sign.
The sign is an example of the platform he mounted and for which he was elected. The sign is not self-serving, rather it speaks to a larger initiative for a burgeoning community. Like-minded citizens view this as a passion project and applaud this effort towards inclusion and civic pride.
Next, Victoria Butler spoke on why she thought the sign should not go ahead.
But you can't simply plunk a sign down somewhere and expect it to become a tourist attraction. Barrie is not a big city like Toronto and Ottawa, but there is so much artistic talent that is unique to us that we could tap into to create a myriad of engaging, brilliant pieces that would put money directly into local artists and community groups' pockets, rather than investing such a colossal amount of money into a stagnant, admittedly unoriginal idea.
Next up were deputations on the amendment to business licensing bylaws regarding the sales of animals in Barrie. Lindsay Fitzgerald spoke. She's the owner of Dugan's Pet Store.
Even though the actual sale of puppies is not my main revenue stream, the families that we send puppies home with become long-term customers. We support them through training and picking a puppy and adding a new family member, and then they support us for years to come. Making changes that negatively affect my store is not aligned with the mayor's agenda to support this. I know some of you may already have your mind made up about the subject. No matter what I say, I won't change your mind. And know that you have an opportunity to make a positive change.
And she says the bylaw actually wouldn't address the problem of kennel sales and all that kind of stuff because it's really an online problem, she says. And next up were committee reports. Now, these were all received without discussion, and that's what I referred to right at the top. Some of these were big discussions and things that really do matter for Barrie's future. However, the big discussion tonight was the Heart Barrie sign. Off the bat, Councillor Jim Harris tabled an amendment to the motion we saw last week.
Paragraph 1, by adding the words promote civic pride after the word together and before the word and encourage. In paragraph 2, delete the name Councillor R. Thompson and add the names Carol Ann M. Ryan, in brackets, Chair, Barrie Public Art Committee, and Karen Carter, brackets, Executive Director, McLaren Arts Centre.
Councillor Aylwin tabled a motion to send the discussion back to City Planning Committee for more debate, more citizen engagement. That motion failed. Councillor Kungle mentioned some concerns about the donations. How have the donations been handled? Why are people giving? And McCann responded. He said the funds have been raised through people who support his vision for the sign and for what it means to him.
To give you a full answer, I believe that people donated or have agreed to donate the money because of the vision that they saw that I have for the city of Barrie.
Councillor Thompson said the sign debate has taken too much of City Council's time, especially during a pandemic lockdown when local businesses are being adversely affected.
You know, we're spending time about a sign, public engagement, and that's great. The Horn and the Heart, zero public engagement, lots of public funded. They didn't ask where they're going to put it. Murals on buildings, you know, soapboxes. We have committees. We respect them. We take their judgment and their motions and we go forward. Every time, if you don't like it, don't vote for it. But when you start shunning people that are, raising money, and we're wasting all this time, and people are watching. They don't know if their business is going to open tomorrow, and they're saying, this is our council. And I know other motions are coming, but the headline tomorrow will be puppies and sign.
There were more than a couple councillors who said the same thing. The vote is to get the ball rolling, to get staff to report on the sign's next steps. And I can't understate this discussion. It took over 45 minutes for council to discuss and debate the sign, the Heart Barrie sign that Councillor McCann has proposed to fundraise. The final motion was staff would help select a vendor, design, and more with the help of the McLaren Arts Centre and members of the Arts Committee. Then they would report back to City Council for review, probably in around 6 months. The motion as amended passed. Councillor McCann called for a recorded vote. Only Councillor Aylwin, Councillor Kungal, and Councillor Rietma voted against this. Next was a discussion of those pet store bylaws we talked about earlier.
Some of the time of the delegates and different perspectives forward. I'd like to table a motion to refer this to Finance and Corporate Services for discussion. So I think with the communication coming forward and lots of interesting dialogue generated, it'd be great to see if bylaw or a representative of staff could join that committee. I believe that's the appropriate one, to also speak to, is there merit in the information coming forward where we've heard that 17 other municipalities have done this?
Councillor Rietma brought forward a last-minute motion regarding the Georgian Theatre.
We have become aware that funding is available from the federal government for, they have a pot of $31 million that's called the Canada Healthy Communities Initiative. And this is a fund that targets specifically new ways to adapt spaces and services to respond to immediate and ongoing needs and to create safe and vibrant public spaces, indoor and outdoor, to encourage cultural activities. The reason for bringing it up here on short notice is that the deadline to apply for this funding is March the 9th, which is only 8 days away. And the intent is to see if we can get some funding to apply to the Georgian Theatre in order to support our arts community that uses that theatre.
Now, council voted to stop the lease on the Georgian Theatre, meaning many arts groups in Barrie were out of a home. Barrie Community Media is actually featuring this discussion later this week, so stay tuned on that, talking to some arts groups who use the Georgian. Now, even with that grant, there'd still be a lot of funding left to make up. It's estimated $1.3 million to refurbish the theatre to get it up to what the city wants. But with this funding, they could find ways to kind of fill the gap. That motion passed unanimously to apply for that grant. Because of the lengthy discussions that I think are important to focus, I'll skip most of the announcements this week. The one I'll focus on is lockdown measures. And Councillor McCann has been outspoken this past week on his support for easing lockdown measures in order to help small businesses, as he says. He questioned Mayor Lehman during announcements period, which is a little bit convention breaking. That doesn't normally happen, and Mayor Lehman told him so. This is an unusual conversation and an unusual interaction. So I'll zoom in here and let you see how that situation unfolded.
Facts. And there was a lot of confusion today. I've had many discussions with all levels of government. I've had many discussions with many businesses, and they haven't asked me, they've demanded that I ask some questions of you. So I'm just gonna ask if this is the forum to ask you, get some clarification, because we all said we need to stop wasting time and help our businesses. Well, I wanna know what we're gonna do. I'm done with the lip service. I think we need to do some action. So, are you ready for this?
Well, Councillor McCann, just a couple of things. You were speaking on to other levels of government on behalf of Barrie City Council?
I was speaking, okay, you're trying to get technical on me, Mayor Lehman. I was talking to other levels of government, yes, about this issue.
Okay. We are at announcements. This is a point generally where members of council make announcements about matters of community concern. If you wanted to have a conversation around what are we doing about the business restrictions.
And with the data that's put forward, we should be in the red zone. So I guess I just want some time to to clarify, and I want to take some action tomorrow with our province, hopefully with you. I know Council Aylwin, I know Councillor Ritma, we're talking quite deliberately that they want to make some action to help our businesses. And I believe this is an area where we can have a super big impact by putting pressure on our province. Thank you, Mayor Lehman.
Well, I'd like to say thanks, Councillor McCann, but I mean, helping the issue doesn't mean trying to bring forward some statement to show I've been contradictory or something. I'm not sure how trying to do that at the end of a council meeting is in any way helping the situation. I don't think you should try and position what you just said and the questions you just asked as somehow helping the situation. That was very clearly about what I said in a media report, and something that I guess you think I've been contradictory on. And I'll certainly address that, but we're not going back and forth tonight. So I'll just, are you done? You've made your announcement?
It wasn't an announcement, Mayor Lehman. This is a question. We're all trying to rally behind our small businesses. They're starving. And there's a bigger issue than COVID-19, where there's some mental serious illness that is happening in our business community. So I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but I hope there wasn't words of condescension here towards what I'm saying. I am trying to do whatever I can to help the small businesses. I feel like my hands are handcuffed. Here's an opening right now where Charles Gardner admitted he was wrong. He's our specialist, right? And we can actually take this opportunity to put some pressure and say, it's okay, we made some mistakes, but let's fix them fast. And you're the strongest voice that we have on council. You're the mayor, right? And I don't appreciate this condescension that you have in your tone here, because I'm trying to help. I thought my post yesterday supporting you was very supportive. You know, Mayor Lehman, you gave Sergeant Council Morales some attitude about 2-3 weeks ago for doing exactly what you're doing right now. Like, let's just get serious. Are we here to help our small businesses or not?
Are you finished your announcement, Councillor McCann? Because then I'm going to have the floor. Okay. So first of all, Councillors Fighting does zero to help. If you want to help, then let's design investments in our community that will promote business, that will promote a strong economic recovery. On this issue itself, let's all 11 of us call on the province to change business restrictions to allow non-essential businesses, small businesses, to stay open. Now, I moved faster than that because the issue blew up on the weekend and I chose to send an email on Sunday. I could have waited for today and brought a motion without notice, or could you, or any member of this council. But during a municipal state of emergency, the head of council speaks for council and has the responsibility for speaking for the community. And so that's what I did.
And lastly, council recognized staff who have helped set up mass vaccination sites across Barrie. It was a doozy of a meeting. And for the full agenda, as always, check the City of Barrie's website, because as I mentioned off the top, there are a lot of decisions made tonight that do affect Barrie going forward. And in these recaps, we focus really on the discussions and debates that happen at City Council, so you can get a closer connection to the councillors who are representing you. Either way, we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.